Hi folks, my name is Bryant and this is the Open Range. On the Open Range we try to bring up subjects which may be a little humorous, maybe a little serious, things which I have thought about and would like to have discussions on with my peers, which is you all. Things that I think that we should be talking about, things that I think are fun to talk about, things that I think are difficult to talk about. So the whole point of the Open Range is to have open discussion about a wide range of topics. Today's topic is going to be controversial, and I've had to do some research to make sure that I understand the background on the subject and not just what has been blown out of proportion on the subject, but I wanted to be able to understand what started this whole deal. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into it. So, I'm going to be flipping through some notes, so you may hear my notebook turning pages. Like I said, I wanted to make sure that I researched it well enough to be able to have this discussion. Okay, so we are going to talk about protesting, and very, very specifically, athletes who have been taking a knee during the National Anthem during sporting events. Professional athletes taking a knee in protest during the National Anthem. And what does that mean, and why did it start, and what do I think about it? And then I want to know what y'all think about it and go from there. I want to start this conversation with a few caveats. Number one, I sometimes find it hard to align myself with entertainers of any sort, whether it's actors or musicians or professional athletes of this caliber whose job is to entertain others, when it comes to topics such as this. And most of the time I have difficulty aligning with them is because they live outlandish lives that are non-relatable to the rest of us. Now, that being said, there are a handful that actually try to provoke action and try to do good with their newfound fame and wealth and influence. And that's awesome. That's awesome. That's the way it should be. There are a handful out there that are ridiculous, and they do ridiculous things. And some people take them a little more seriously than I think they should, but that's my opinion. You can do whatever you want. That's the beauty of this country. Secondly, I would like to add that I have great support for the military and for people that go into that position voluntarily, willing to risk their lives for the safety and protection of others. That's an amazing thing that is really hard to argue with there. I also love this country. I think that the United States of America is the greatest country on the face of the earth. I think it was founded as such and will remain as such, not without difficulty and not without challenge, but at the end of the day, you know, there's not a better country that I would rather call home and be a part of. So, with those things in mind, let's dip into this and see where it goes. So, taking a knee during the National Anthem at professional sporting events, namely the NFL. I don't care about ball sports at all. I don't follow them. I don't really know who any of these people are outside of what shows up in the news or on social media, and even then I scroll through it. I don't care. I drive a race car. I prefer to be around cars and racing sports. I like the Olympics, as representations of nations. But professional ball sports, I don't care. I don't care, what they do and all this kind of stuff. So it's very interesting that someone from that sport can make such a huge national impact, going all the way to the White House, literally. And so I wanted to find out, well, what's this all about, and why are people so upset about it, and why are people so glad that it's happening? why is it affecting corporations? Why is it affecting the office of the President of the United States of America? What's the deal? So, let's look at it. Where did this start? This started back when Colin Kaepernick, whatever. He actually started in the preseason sitting on the bench during the national anthem, but nobody said anything about this. He did it for 2 weeks, and no one said anything about it. Finally, the media started asking him about it and this and that, and when I say the media, I mean the journalists reporting on sports things started asking him about it. So now this is important. This is very important that we listen to all of this. So he decided to change his stance, literally, from sitting on the bench to kneeling. His reason, and I quote, was to show more respect to the military, current and past. Okay? That's important. That is important to remember, because people are saying that this is disrespectful to the military, and I'm going to get in on that here in a minute, and what I think about that. So, he started this deal. Why was he doing this in the first place? So he was protesting, non-violently protesting, criminal justice reform is the best way to say it. Violence against minorities due to the police and this and that. I'm not going to get into that real heavily. That's going to be another topic for another time. It could go for days. We could talk for days about it. So, all we're talking about specifically is taking a knee during the national anthem at professional sporting events, and how I feel about it and what they're trying to do with it, and just what the heck is going on. So, he is protesting criminal justice reform by kneeling during the national anthem on televised sporting events or non-televised. I don't know if they all get televised or not. Whatever. It has taken off like wildfire. People supporting him, people not supporting him, people being extremely rude to both sides about it, all the way up to the White House with ridiculous things being said that don't need to be said by someone in that office. So let's ask a few questions here. Is what he is doing illegal? Is it illegal? Is it a crime? Is he committing a crime by not standing during the national anthem and paying respect in that manner? Is it illegal? No, it is absolutely not. So, the U.S. Flag Code, Title 36, Subtitle 1, Part A, Chapter 3, Section 301. There's a key word in this, and I'll have a link in the description to the code where you can go read it. The key word is that in all of the things that you are doing during the national anthem, the key word written in this way, and this is the best thing about the United States, this is the best. The best reason why this is the greatest country on earth is it says you should stand, face the flag. If there is no flag and the anthem is playing, you should stand and face where the music is coming from. Should. The key word is should. This does not say that you have to do this. So you don't have to do it, but you should. It is recommended to show patriotism, to show respect, this and that and the other. How can you argue with someone who is taking their First Amendment right, the right of the people to peaceably assemble, okay, taking his First Amendment right non-violently to do something in which he feels strongly about, and I'm going to get into a little more detail in this, and he's not breaking any laws? Isn't that? And then okay, so the problem the hang up that I have here is that people are saying that it is unpatriotic. Isn't that the most patriotic thing that you could be doing when you disagree with something that is impacting our country, by following all the rules and still remaining respectful? And then, not only is he doing this protest non-violently, It's a respectful protest. You may not agree with it, and that's fine. You don't have to agree with it. But what he's doing is not wrong. It's not wrong, and it's not illegal, and it's not bad. It is the best example of protesting something in which you don't agree with. Now, do you not agree with it? Probably not. That's fine. This talk here, for most of the people that will see it, is going to touch a nerve, and that's fine. That's the whole point. We need to talk about this and figure out why. Why is this such a problem? So, he's doing this protest because of an issue that he feels strongly about, and he has realized that as an entertainer, as a professional athlete, he has the opportunity to bring light to this subject, which is important to him. Okay. Is it a subject which we need to talk about? Yes. Is it something that is currently ongoing and affecting the lives of American citizens? Yes. Is it being blown out of proportion? It's possible. Today, with social media, the way things get spread, the smallest little issue can turn into a ridiculous thing overnight in a few hours just by shares and people talking about it and whatever. So we're not going to get into that. What we're getting into is what he is actually doing. Let's break it down. What he is actually doing. Taking a knee during the National Anthem. This has gone from one man doing this to multiple men doing this to people changing the way the NFL operates. Who cares? To the White House commenting on a sole individual being fired from their job. Oh my God. How ridiculous can we make this whole thing? Okay? So, it's silly that it's blown out of proportion like this. If you are going to protest something, you are allowed to. You're allowed to. It doesn't matter what it is or what you're protesting. It doesn't matter how you do it, but you are allowed to protest things. That's what this country was founded on. Disagreement over something and people taking a stand. Now, let's hope that, and in this particular case, Kaepernick has taken his own money from his job and donated it to charities. He's created new programs to not only protest by taking the knee, but perform an action that can help solve the problem that he sees as an issue. And he's doing this by the millions of dollars. And so did the football team that he was, the 49ers or whoever they were. They earmarked some money to send off as well when all of this just started. So we have gone from when that started to now, people calling for the NFL to fire these players, people or the NFL changing their stance by leaving those players in the locker room or doing whatever, which is suppression of a right, which is not what this country is founded on. We are not founded on suppressing the rights of others if it makes us feel funny about it. Come on. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. That's not a good way to handle this. What we should be doing is what we're doing right now, and that is having the conversation as to why is this person using such an influential post. And I don't say influential in that what all of these certain types of people that hold entertainment type jobs are doing is right, but influential in that they can reach millions of people. There are millions of people that watch these events and see what these players are doing. So you have to be very responsible about how you're doing it. Now, some of the other protests that some of these other players are doing, I'm not a fan of. I don't think it's the right way to handle it. But I think the way that this one was being handled, with respect, not illegal, non-violent, about an issue cared passionately about, that is also followed up by action, by action, by doing something to help mitigate the problem that they see in this protest. That is the way you should do it. That's the way it works. It's a perfect example of the way that it works. Now, it has been blown out of proportion on the other end by everyone arguing about it and saying it's disrespectful to the flag and it's disrespectful to the military and this and that. Well, let's think about that for a minute. Isn't the whole reason we have that flag and the military and this country so that we can do things like this without fear of repercussion if we do it the right way? If you wanted to protest something like, I don't know, I need to try to find an example that works on the other end of this argument that people would support and other people would not support. So I don't have a good one. I don't have a good one that I can use. But if you have something that's passionate to you and you had an opportunity to reach millions of people and bring awareness to it, wouldn't you do it? If then, or shouldn't you do it? Should you not do that? If then, especially if you are financially able to follow it up with some type of action to help make a difference, isn't that a good thing? That's a good thing. Can all of this get out of hand? Yes. Are there things that are illegal in forms of protesting that you shouldn't do? Absolutely. Being violent during a protest and using violence as a means to try to spread whatever you're trying to preach is not right. That's not right. It never works. It shouldn't work. Violence will only bring on more violence to oppose it. That doesn't work. Yelling and shouting and getting into arguments and turning red in the face and throwing fisticuffs with people in the street that don't agree with you. No. It doesn't work. Get excited. Be excited about what you're doing. I am an excitable person, as I'm sure you figured out by now. I have a lot of energy, and sometimes my conversations become rather colorful, but that's okay. I'm not threatening anybody. I want to have a discussion with somebody and try to figure out the way that they're thinking and why they're thinking that. And be able to learn from that and to build upon that and to maybe use that as a way to better approach whatever I am trying to say or do to either convince them to be on my side or to change my point of view to be on their side or something in the middle or whatever. But doing things the wrong way, okay, so let's real quick touch on standing on or burning the flag, desecrating the flag. That's wrong. There is no place in which that is okay in the United States. Because that flag represents your ability to burn it, you shouldn't. Pretty much. Is it illegal? It's on the wording of everything. It's one of those things that could be left to some deep interpretation on whether it was legal or not. That's up to your attorney when you're faced with that. I wouldn't do it. I think that is extremely disrespectful to the flag of this nation. If you're not a part of this country and you do it, that's on you. But if you are an American citizen in the United States or not in the United States, you should not participate in anything where you desecrate the flag of your country that allows you to hold the opinion of wanting to desecrate the flag of your country for whatever reason it is. Don't do that. Don't do that. So, just real quick, we'll run through everything again. Taking a knee during the NFL as a form of protest for criminal justice reform. Is it illegal? No, it is absolutely not illegal. The key word in the flag code is should. You should do these things to be respectful to the flag, but it doesn't say you have to. And we should never oppress people into doing something that they feel that they don't want to be doing per se. That's not the way our country works, or that's not the way our country should work. We should never forcibly make somebody do something, especially if they have a reason to be against it. Saying that it is disrespectful to the military and to the flag and to the nation and whatnot, I believe to be a little bit ridiculous because the flag, the nation, the military, all of that is the entire reason that you're able to do something like that. In other countries, you cannot do that. You can't do that. They are forced to pledge allegiance, to do whatever. They are not allowed to have protest and to question things. And that's not the United States of America, and that's not what we stand for as Americans. Together we should understand that everyone has the ability and the right to have a disagreement with somebody. Now, how you handle that right, that's where legality and things like that come in, and professionalism and whatnot. But we all have the right to have a disagreement with somebody about our view. Some of you are going to disagree with me. That's fine. That's the whole point. We should talk about it. I hope that you talk about it. I hope that you don't say things in privately that you could reword to publicly, and I'd rather that you say that instead so that we can discuss it. So let's talk about it. So, taking a knee during the national anthem at the NFL, one, it's the NFL. I don't care, whatever. Okay, they're whatever. We can get into that at another time. But this person found a platform in which to speak without speaking respectfully, whether you think it's disrespectful or not. I don't think that it is disrespectful. I think it was very professional. Instead of going out and shouting in the streets and waving your fist at people and causing a ruckus. Now that is what has stemmed from this. But the original protest was respectful. Respect was added to it by him coming off the bench and actually taking a knee. So he thought about it. I have to give him props for that. It's not my place to say whether he's right or not. I think that he did everything in the manner in which he should. Is the topic that he's discussing something that I have some feelings on? Yeah, a little bit. I've got it written down on my long list of topics, and we'll have a discussion about that in the future. But right now we're talking about the action of what he is doing, and because it's causing so much trouble and turmoil, just the action. People have forgotten what he's talking about and what he's done behind the action to support that, and that's the most important part there. So, it's not illegal. You might think it's disrespectful, okay, but our country allows for him to do that, and that's what makes it the greatest country in the world. It allows for you to feel that it is disrespectful and voice your opinion about it, but remember that both sides get a chance. Both sides get a chance to that. So, in this whole thing, let's try to remember that we should stay true to our beliefs and what we're passionate about, but we need to be ready to come to the table when someone calls upon it. If the opposition says, hey man, what are you going to do about it? I mean, I see that you're taking a knee, but what are you actually going to do about it? In this situation, he said, well, here's $1 million to these charities, and here's another 100,000 every 10 months or whatever he said he was going to do to all of these other groups that support what I'm trying to say. Action. Take action, man. Be ready to come to the table and have a discussion about it. If someone comes to you and says, hey, I don't agree with what you're doing, but I want to, why is this bothering you? Let's talk about it. Be ready to come. Stand up. And politely, don't be a dick, and have a discussion about it. Both sides, don't be a dick. Go to that person and say, hey man, I don't understand why you're doing this, and I feel that it's disrespectful. Can you talk to me about it? And the other person should be able to reply with, yeah, absolutely, I'll talk to you about it, because I want somebody to hear. I want somebody to hear what I wasn't saying. And that's important. And that's important for this country. So let's keep that in mind. Remember, don't be a dick. I hope that you are able to think about this. I hope that the way I was able to express my opinion on it is one that causes you some thought, whether you agree or disagree. I want to know. Let me know. comments, like, share, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff to keep the conversation flowing. I'd rather that happen for the sake of conversation and discussion than for me and anything that I might get out of this. I like to see that people are using their minds a little bit and able to tamp down their emotions long enough to think about something before they trigger an emotional response. I've seen some responses about that, about people taking things into consideration a little more because I've started this, and that's awesome. That's what I want. I'm really happy to hear that. You guys are great. I enjoy all of you and all of your inputs. I hope that this topic was one that was thought-provoking and that we can have a discussion about. I know that I've got a few more. I was a little anxious about making this video because I know that most of my at least social media friends are probably on the opposite side of this than me. Now, I'm just talking about the action itself. I'm not talking about what it stands for, but this talk right here, just the action itself of him taking a knee during the national anthem, I think it's fine. I think it's a good way to bring light to a subject in a very professional and respectful manner, and to help get the ball rolling. Now, the response that everyone else had to that's a completely different matter. But I think that actual action, I don't think there was anything wrong with that. And it definitely wasn't illegal for it. And I think that if you were to sit this man down and talk to him about it, I think that he would feel the same about that. And I would hope that he would feel that some of the ridiculousness that stemmed from it is ridiculous. Discussions are important, and accusations and forcing other people to do things or not do things that they may not agree with, that's not okay. That's what we need to talk about. So thank you for participating. Thank you for meeting me out here on the open range, and I will see you next time.